So I'm sat with Bobby from SmartShow. Hi, Bobby. You all right?
Hi, Mike. How are you?
Not so bad, thanks. Not so bad. Thanks for spending a bit of time
Okay.
today. How did you get into doing lighting?
Well, I've been really interested in lighting ever since I was a small child, from even about the age of 8. Just making torches and basically having things by the side of the bed just so that I could read my books at night. And it kind of went on a little bit further from there, and by the time I got to secondary school I ended up doing helping with stage lighting for the various plays and things that they had, and working in the little desk at the side, you're always hidden away, and getting all the lights working and everything for the plays just made me so happy. Some of the dimmers and everything, we were kind of experimenting with various different controls for dimmers and gels, and it kind of made me realise just how exciting lighting was. I liked performing. I've been doing performing most of my life anyway, but the lighting part was just great. I just loved it. So by the time I got to, I would think by about the age of about 18, I was starting to develop like sound to light controllers for mains lights so that I could use them with my band, because I was in a rock band, hence the performing stuff. And I got made better and better sound to light controllers and started running with data and things around stages, and it got to a point where I kind of realised that I liked doing this, but I didn't have enough information, and I don't really actually even think DMX probably was around, but I never knew about it. And it was at that time that I kind of ended up being swallowed up into a much bigger company, just developing electronics and software for in the yachting industry. So I had to end up putting some of those lighting ideas to bed for a while.
So we talk about Art-Net, we talk about DMX. When did you start to sort of move into that side of things?
I think about 11 years ago, I decided to go through my loft. It was a funny story really, but I decided to go through my loft and started to throw things out, and I came across this box of electronics that I'd been working on, and I looked at it and thought, that looks a lot of fun. I'll see if I can get going on that again. And I brought it down, had a little look, realised how out of date it all was, and I thought there must be a better way of doing this. So I looked it up on the internet and see how people were doing things now, and it was, everyone was talking about DMX. And I thought, right, that's it, I've got to get into DMX. I didn't know anything about DMX. I knew about various protocols and things, but didn't really know what DMX did and why it did it. So I decided now's a good time to actually try and make a DMX controller of some sort, or some DMX receiver. I didn't have any DMX lights, so I didn't know if I was even doing it right, but I carried on, and pretty quickly I managed to get something that worked, and then I bought some stuff and got everything connected together. It was all working great. And before long I thought, well, great, we've started all this DMX stuff, where else can we go with it? And I started building a few little simple projects, and I can fast forward now, but essentially that was the main part of my love for DMX and understanding what you can do for you.
Yeah. So what was the first, can you remember the first product you made that you was able to actually sell?
Yeah, there was a USB to pixel driver that I made. I think it was called USB DMX, I think. No, it wasn't. USB pixel. No, it wasn't. USB WS. I don't know, something like that. Essentially, you just plugged it straight into a USB drive into your computer, and you could run, I believe you could run an output from Jinx, which would drive one universe of pixels, so it would just connect straight to the pixels, and that was it. It was simple. There was no controls over it. It just started working straight away.
But when did you think, hang on a minute, this is getting good, I can actually make a business out of this?
Well, the love for pixels started right then, and I think I didn't really know anything about pixels when I first started. I knew about LEDs, but then when these WS2812s came along, I decided, right, I'm going to find out everything there is to know about the WS2812s. of course, this USB gadget was a bit of fun, but I thought I wanted to push that even further. So I started reading about things, and then I realised people were driving this stuff over Ethernet, and I was like, what? This is way better than just standard DMX. So I decided I was going to just get fully into Ethernet. What does Ethernet do? How does it sit on a network? Well, it is a network, isn't it? But how we can actually then bring Art-Net information into our products, the data for Art-Net into our products. So yeah, so I started working on this, and I think the earliest example was a Net WS340. I started making some of these. The early sample, the very first sample I made was terrible. It was white. It had an awful display, but it was working. And I think even started showing a few people on the group the Facebook group that I started, the DIY DMX, which I think by that time had about 500 people. And I think it's probably got about 15,000 people in it now. But yeah, just started showing a few people, and people come back saying, "We like this. Can you make me one?" And I was like, "Oh, I was only putting these together for a bit of fun." And there was so many people that were interested. I think it might have been just because there wasn't that many products like that about in those days. I think we're going back about seven years or something like that. 8 years perhaps. And it became a bit of a demand out of nowhere.
Because the products themselves are quite small, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do you think that helped? Because they're small and compact and easy to use?
Yeah, I think people were used to having big boxes that did things, and then when you opened them up, actually there wasn't very much going on inside there. And I've always liked to reduce things down to its absolute minimum so you could hide it away. So I come up with this idea. Maybe I could make it into a little sort of squarish sort of tube with an input one end and an output another end, and a little display, and it could just be discreetly hidden somewhere in an installation, or behind somewhere, a bit of blue tack or a bit of double-sided tape, or anywhere that anybody would want to put it.
So you had these controllers, and like you say, people were starting to get interested in buying them. Have you had any of your controllers used in anywhere famous that the viewers may know about? Yeah, there's been a few. There's been several sort of installations on much more advanced, equipment, far better than those original ones that I did. We've had they've been used on some adverts around the UK, and I think some sort of European adverts. I believe there was something for Mercedes, BMW. I believe there was London and North East Railway. Suzuki Swift used some on a car park. And a lot of these were done actually by one guy. He's probably on the group watching this now. He was really, really useful for me. He was great. He bought some stuff off of me and used it quite a lot in these adverts. And there's been some art installations, and there's been some window installations. There was one sort of quite nice window installation that was done in Oxford Street for Miss Selfridge over the Christmas period. That was a lot of the windows in the front were just big sort of pixel drapes coming down. That was all run by a bunch of net pixel quads. The new Series 12 or Series 13, can't remember, the newish Doctor Who's TARDIS. They kind of rebuilt most of the TARDIS, and all the pixel work inside the TARDIS was all driven by Net WS340s or net pixel quads inside there. So that was work done for the BBC. I think there's BBC's. Was it the Masked Singer? Was that BBC as well? ITV.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was ITV. Yeah. And there's a guy on the group, Martin King. I mean, he was involved in the Masked Singer, and used one of our products for the, what was that? The chameleon. It's the guy with the big chameleon costume with all the lights. So it was absolutely brilliant.
Okay, so we're downstairs in your workshop at the moment, and you've got a couple of blue boxes to the side of you there. Do you want to just give us a quick overview of those?
I'll give you a little bit more than an overview.
Okay.
I'll tell you why I've ended up getting involved in this. about 4 years ago, I kind of got headhunted by a company in America for the skill set that I kind of thought I brought to the lighting industry, which was sort of my knowledge about DMX and Ethernet and pixels and goodness knows what else. And they kind of liked what I did, and they kind of dragged me on board, and we started developing an extension to what was already a well-established set of products that are used within the USA film and television industry. And so we started working on this top box here. This is Unity. The company's called Ratpac Controls. This is essentially a box that does lots of dimming outputs. It's got Ethernet coming in, it's got wireless DMX going in and out, and it's got lots of DMX outputs. It's got a great UI, it's got a web GUI, it's got everything, all in one box. And this is their big thing about this box. You could take several different bits of equipment, and the only way to actually bring them all together is put tape around them or tie wrap everything together and try and drag them onto set. But whereas this box has got everything all together in one box, and you just bring it on set, switch it on, and just configure it how you need it, and away you go. And things kind of went on from there. I developed the next product off the back of that with the guys, a fantastic engineering team over there. We developed something called the Datasphere, which is a similar size box, but without the dimming outputs. And then more recently, we developed another one which is called the Link PDB, which is, once again, it's another product. It's kind of for particular markets, for particular people's needs.
I know you can't divulge any secrets, but I believe you went over to America and you may have been on a famous film set.
Well, I can divulge secrets if you cross my palm with silver. Yeah, I mean, I was taken to a couple of film sets. Not as many as I'd like, but sometimes there's not always the time to actually manage to that. But I mean, I went to the How to Get Away with Murder film set. That was in Hollywood. And that was interesting for my first view on actually how a film set actually worked, and working up on above the film set in the perms, actually having a look, see what was up there. And then I was taken to a mysterious film set down on Manhattan Beach. I didn't know where I was or what this was doing. I didn't even know anything about this place. But we took along Unity for the lighting guys there to have a look at and talk to, and some of these lighting guys are people that I've become quite familiar with, and we're quite good friends now. And later realised that this was the film set for The Mandalorian. So it was a Star Wars film set, and it had all the stuff there that was what I was then going to be seeing, a year, 18 months, 2 years later down the line. It was quite exciting.
Is there anything else coming up that you can tease us with?
Well, for the last a couple of years at least, I've been working with another company over in California, a company called Rupixels, and we've been developing this box, which is an ACF16. It's an Ethernet to pixel controller, which includes power supply in there. It's a very, very versatile box. It's going to have USB recording. It's going to have all manner of fantastic color science combinations of outputs, and it's all fully Ethernet controlled, and it's just incredible. So keep your eyes open for Rupixel ACF16.
Is that for the film industry?
Yeah, this is also for the film industry. Yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to put a picture of those other pixels on the screen as well at the moment. So
the Ruflex panels. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are to give a true colour.
Yeah, we've been working really hard for several months to get the colour science behind creating colour, really. So we have a consistency of colour on the mats, and there's a really clever guy, not me, somebody way cleverer than me. That's actually developed the colour science algorithms for us. I don't know whether I should divulge his name, but he can comment underneath if he really wants to. So yeah, we've developed some fantastic stuff for that so it can be used very extensively with lots of different DMX profiling.
Okay, so this is the film industry again in America.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Do you think any of this will be coming over to the UK film side of things?
Well, I believe, I'm hoping that some of these boxes will ultimately come to the UK and Europe. That's how Ratpac want to deal with their sales, and I don't really know how far they've progressed down there, if at all yet, and if they'll even tell me if they were going to. But certainly this box, there is very little reason why this can't be used in the UK. I mean, I'm using it and I'm in the UK, and it works perfectly well.
Well, Bobby, thanks very much for spending the time today to go through these questions. Is there anything else that you'd like to add or say to your adoring fans?
Not adoring fans. Just thank you to everybody that's joined the DIY DMX group and the Smart Show group that I've put together on Facebook. It's been a very, very long journey, and they talk on there, and people come up with problems and people come up with solutions. It's not always me that gets involved anymore. I've got some great people that actually help out with the admin, so that I don't really need to. But thank you all very much for sticking with it, and let's hope we can get some more really good ideas and a good solid future together.
Bobby, thanks very much.
Thank you, Mike Walker.